What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package update and daily news report for Friday, March 25th. So in today's video, we need to discuss the delays that we're seeing, because some of the delays are actually put on a specific person, and a lot of Democrats are very upset by this. So I want to address what's going on there. Also want to give you a little bit of an update regarding some stimulus that we could potentially see, but at the same time, it could be pushed off again like we always have seen over the past 2 years. We also know senators are ready for negotiations, and Senator Joe Manchin is ready for this as well. We know the U.S., as of yesterday, has a new energy deal with the European Union, so I will address that as well. And we also have some news on COVID at the end of this video. So make sure you stick around to the end. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can always ask your questions down in the comment section below. Now, let's get right into it. But first off, if you could and you enjoy these daily uploads, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button, and also feel free to share this video with your friends, family, and loved ones over on Facebook as well. But here's what we know. Many are asking, is President Biden just handing the midterm elections over to Republicans? Now, some Democrats think that is exactly what he's doing, which is why they continue to push President Biden to do more. But will it be enough? That is something that we honestly do not know. But what we do know is that right now, President Biden needs to be more clear. Democrats believe that President Biden will do more. Here's the issue. President Biden is the one that is causing delays. The issue that Democrats have is President Biden is waiting too long. The American people are seeing that he's just delaying all these decisions, and they are not happy. So who do they show their displeasure to? Well, they show all that to their lawmakers. Okay, their representatives, their senators, right? Their governors. That's who's seeing all this, not necessarily President Biden. So even though his polling numbers are not great, they keep going down. Some say that it would actually be worse if they would put all the pressure on President Biden. Now, here's what you need to understand. And it doesn't matter what it is. Okay, because here's what's happening. Some people are saying President Biden waited far too long to impose sanctions on Russia. Well, we're now starting to see some of the results from that. But again, we're over a month into this Russian invasion into Ukraine. Others say that President Biden has taken too long to request additional funding for COVID when he knew that his administration didn't have the necessary funds to begin with. That's a huge issue as well. Many lawmakers, they have publicly stated that President Biden is taking too long to either extend the student loan payment pause or forgive student debt. Now, and we know that this is something that the Biden administration is eventually going to take care of or do something for, but this is being pushed back further and further. And that's causing a lot of issues because people that do have this debt, they don't know what they need to do or how to plan for the future. And that's causing a lot of issues. We also know, and this is obviously a huge issue, is that right now, the issues surrounding Social Security, President Biden, he promised, and he made a public statement, this was even on his website, he promised that he was going to get $200 per month as a Social Security boost. Well, President Biden hasn't even publicly addressed this. He hasn't addressed this since he's been elected. And that's a huge issue. But according to many reports, it's because of these issues that many are upset with President Biden over everything that he hasn't done so far. Now, with that said, another thing that President Biden has done is he's allowed one single senator, Senator Joe Manchin, the ability to dictate what gets passed and what doesn't. Well, yesterday, Senator Joe Manchin laid out his plans. Senator Joe Manchin says he wants drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, concessions on natural gas exports as part of a package that includes clean energy money. He wants prescription drug reform and taxing the rich. So at this time, all social programs are not included, are looking like they are dead. This means that all the talk from Democrats about doing something for homelessness, public housing, a hearing vision for seniors, what else? There's providing care for elderly and disabled. All these things have gone away. They have gone away over the last few months. So the demands from Senator Joe Manchin, they could set back, these talks even more. And if a single Democratic senator opposes his views on clean energy or his stance on taxing the rich, well, there you go. That bill's dead as well. And currently, Democratic Senator Kyrsten Sinema, she doesn't support taxing the rich either. So there's some issues there. So who knows if Democrats can even get the support that they need to get something like this even passed. So we'll see. We do know that something that did happen yesterday is that the U.S. and the European Union are going to push to boost supplies of liquefied natural gas to European countries, hopefully by the end of 2022. That's the plan. And this is supposed to displace Russia's gas, right? Currently, Russia supplies about 40% of liquefied natural gas to Europe, and that's too much. Now, the goal is to get Europe about 15 billion cubic meters of additional liquefied natural gas, or LNG, by the end of the year. And eventually, the goal is to wean Europe off of Russia's supply. That's the plan. Now, this additional move by the United States is really only ramping up the worries that Russia is going to eventually retaliate. This is the problem. This isn't anything new, but according to U.S. officials, they believe that the most likely outcome will be a cyber attack. We don't know when, we don't know who it's going to target, but that is already in the discussions, and the Biden administration has already been warning large companies and CEOs to get ready for this. And in other news, the chip industry is under a major threat due to neon production and really huge declines as a result of the Russian invasion into Ukraine. We know that about more than 50% of the world's neon is produced by companies out of Ukraine. One of the leading companies as well is actually based in Mariupol, who, if you've been following the news, you know they are getting hammered as we speak. People are just fleeing the city. Now, while the chip industry is going to be hit very hard really soon, according to Senator Bernie Sanders, he is saying that he will not allow the Senate to move forward with the microchips bill without a couple things. He says 2 votes. One, making sure Mr. Bezos does not get $10 billion from the taxpayers of this country. And number 2, that we don't give $53 billion to the very profitable microchip industry without strings attached. That's what he's saying. Now, here's something that you need to keep in mind. What many lawmakers are saying right now is we have to have some accountability. We have to make sure there are strings attached. No more just giving money away to the American people or to businesses without having some type of accountability behind it. That you have to use this money for X, Y, and Z. Or you have to use this money before, this date, right? That's what they're saying. Now, I just want to point out, when we see these stimulus bills come back, right? When we see these social programs get pushed back into whatever the next bill is, just understand there is going to be strings attached to everything. Now, Democrats are not going to want it, but moderates want that, Republicans want that, and Democrats will most likely go for it to see these provisions put back into the bill. So keep in mind that right now, the stimulus package that we're seeing is pretty much dead. But the expectation is when we get the clean energy bill and the pay-fors, once that is done, then we will likely see more of the social aspects of the bill, okay, the social programs put back into it. And as they're put back into it, just understand the language will change so that there's going to be more requirements, restrictions, and strings will be attached. So just keep that in mind. Now, in other financial news, and I thought this was a very good move, but the other day, Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis, he approved mandatory financial literacy class for high school graduates. So yes, you have to take a financial literacy class and pass it before you can graduate. Now, this is something that I've been I took a class on financial literacy, and it was more of a really an elective when I was in high school. That was many years ago, but it gave me the skills and knowledge that I needed to be successful once I graduated. But I'd love your thoughts on this, because do you think it's a good thing that a high school graduate, do you think it's acceptable that they do not know how to do things like open a bank account, apply for a credit card, file taxes? They don't understand what a credit score actually is, or how people use debt, whether it's to go into more debt and build wealth, or go into debt and buy liabilities and become a little more poor. That's my question: is do you think this is a good move by the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis? I personally think this is great. I think people need this. I think this is something that everybody should do, whether you're in high school or not. You should know all these things, but at the same time, it's not a requirement in most states. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Also, let's get into some COVID news for today, because we are seeing COVID cases start to increase. Just in LA County alone, the BA.2 COVID variant has increased by more than 130% in the past week. Now, Dr. Anthony Fauci believes that this slight uptick, it's not going to turn into a full-on surge, but he says we will see more cases just like we have seen over in Europe. He also states that the U.S. is in a better place than any other country. We are also in a better place than we have been in the past, and currently about 65% of the population is vaccinated, so this will help. But as always, many health experts say continue to monitor for symptoms and do what we can to stay healthy. That's their recommendation. So that's what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on, share all the latest news and updates. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.